Hello and welcome back to Veteran Core Sports presented by Prospect Apparel. Today we're back with another fight breakdown. This weekend we have a very fun card. UFC 286 headlined by this fight you see here, Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3. And as you can see here, the statistics, the records are pretty much identical. The height is identical. The reach is very slim margin, 2-inch reach advantage. This weight class isn't huge. Man, like these guys, man, what happened last time in August was nuts. Leon Edwards obviously coming from the dead, down 3-1 on the rounds, head kicking Kamaru Usman out cold in the last minute. It was nuts. And I've told my stories about this fight and how crazy it was. And obviously I've broken it down. I broke it down yesterday with Nathaniel Wood. That interview is out. You guys can check that out. But I have to give my predictions and my solo thoughts, so that's why I'm here. Leon Edwards, obviously the better striker, Kamaru Usman the better wrestler, and from what we've seen, Kamaru Usman better in many respects, but Leon Edwards has an insane amount of talent. I think he's going to come in even more prepared. He's going to be prepared for the wrestling. And maybe the altitude played a factor in his cardio, but I don't know. It's an interesting fight, and I'm swaying back and forth because I feel like the logical pick is Kamaru Usman by decision, and I can see him winning, but I can see Leon finishing him again. Not as spectacular, I don't think you can get more spectacular than that knockout, but with a home crowd behind him. And the motivation, I'm sure his motivation is through the roof right now. His confidence seems high. So is Kamaru Usman's. Leon has advantages in many respects in the striking realm, and I think he can get it done. I'm back and forth on this one. It'll probably say on Saturday night, oh yeah, I picked Usman if he wins. And, oh yeah, I picked Leon if he wins. But, after going back and forth and thinking, I'm going to say the hometown man gets it done. I picked Leon before when he fought Kamaru Usman. You can check that on my Instagram. I'm going to pick him again. I think he can finish Usman again. I don't think that's a big thing for Usman. But, if Usman wins, I'm not going to be surprised. I think it will be by decision. So I'm fence sitting on this one. And that's why I can't give a confident pick. But gun to my head, if I had to pick, Leon Edwards winning would be my pick. But I can see Usman winning, and I can see him doing it dominantly, much to the displeasure of the UK scene. I mean, if he wins, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Khamzat Chimaev are there, and there's not really anything else. A few guys coming up, but I feel like Leon winning is better for the division. So, moving on to the next fight. It is a lightweight war. Justin Gaethje coming off the Oliveira loss versus Rafael Ataman Fiziev, depends on how you want to say it. Once again, looking at the stats, despite the height being a big thing, 5'11 versus 5'8, the reach advantage actually lies with the Kyrgyzstan kickboxer, or Muay Thai fighter, I should say, Rafael Fiziev. And I'm so high on Rafael Fiziev. I think he is a monster, and I would love to see him fight Dustin Poirier. I think that's the next logical fight if he beats Gaethje. And I think he will. Gaethje can turn it into a war, and that's what I'm interested in this fight for. Can Gaethje turn it into a war? But the longer this fight goes and the more technical it stays, like I think it will, I think Fiziev chews him up from range and finishes him in round 2. Round 3 TKO is my prediction. Rafael Fiziev moves on. I would like to see him fight Dustin Poirier. Next up is Gunnar Nelson, very impressive grappler, going up against Bryan Barberena. Bryan Barberena coming off the loss to Rafael dos Anjos. And that's my biggest thing coming into this fight. This is my biggest worry, is he looked really bad in that fight, and he got controlled easily. And I think Gunnar Nelson can do the same thing. And I'm going to say this confidently. Gunnar Nelson, second round submission. Gonna be the same thing. Brian Barberena either needs to go and improve his wrestling and grappling, which I hope he has since the December fight, or fight more strikers. Because I don't know if he's champ material, but he can definitely find some fun fights and good striking fights, or some prospects coming up. He'd be a good fighter for prospects to fight as well. Casey O'Neill versus Jennifer Maia. This fight is new to the main card. Obviously, I believe this was supposed to be Joanne Calderwood, or Joanne Wood now. She married and changed her name. Jennifer Maia, I believe, recently won. Casey O'Neill, obviously undefeated, coming off the split decision win over Roxanne Modafferi. I'm gonna straight up say Casey O'Neill by decision is my pick, and it's pretty confident. I don't think Jennifer Maia is gonna get back to title contention anytime soon. And Casey O'Neill, I think this is just her stepping stone into that top range of flyweights. And the other fight that I would like to talk about, and I want to talk about a few of the prelim bouts as well. Marvin Vettori versus Roman Dolidze. Very fun fight. These guys have trained together too, and there's a little bit of trash talk across the media days about those training sessions. So obviously they know how those training sessions went. We don't. The coaches know, I would think, in Vittori's corner. And maybe Dolidze's coaches know, if Dolidze is honest with them. Marvin Vettori coming off the loss to Robert Whitaker in September. It was a tough loss too. It was a bad look for Vettori. He just looked out of his depth, and he got played with for 3 rounds. And Roman Dolidze coming off a very impressive win over Jack Hermanson, a TKO win where he trapped his leg in a calf slicer and beat him up. And I believe before this it was a 3-fight winning streak. So yeah, that's a good fight. Roman Dolidze, I think, is very, very good, but Vettori has the ability to drag it into deep waters, and I think he will. And I think Vettori by unanimous decision is a smart pick. I think on a standing standpoint, I think technically Vettori is better. Dolidze has more power. Vettori obviously has that ridiculous chin on him. Vettori can get him down, that's where I'm interested, or Dolidze can get him down. Both guys have very good grappling, the Georgian grappling. Very good jiu-jitsu, very clever, doesn't stop moving, doesn't give up, but if Vettori can hold him down for 3 rounds, I wouldn't be surprised. But going Vettori unanimous decision, I think he just outpoints him on the feet. I don't see a finish coming from Vettori. If there is a finish, it will be Dolidze. I don't see him TKO, and it would have to be a submission. I don't think Vettori's ever been finished. So Vettori by decision is my pick. The Italian Dream moves on. And from a who I'd like to see him fight standpoint, Dricus du Plessis would be a good fight. Obviously, he's new to the top 5. He's lost to Robert Whitaker, so that fight's out of the question. He's lost to Adesanya twice, so he's not going to get a title fight off this. No shot. Looking about the top 5. No, I think the next step is Dricus du Plessis. But the prelims on this card, if I can just scroll down here, I mean, look at this. Jack Shore coming in off a flyweight, or flyweight, geez, bantamweight loss to Ricky Simone. He's moving up a weight class now, and he's facing Makwan Amirkhani. It's a good fight for Jack Shore, and Jack Shore by submission is my pick for that one. It's a good fight. It's a good stepping stone for Jack to get his feet into the featherweight division. Chris Duncan coming off the win at on the Dana White Contender Series. Omar Morales trying to get back to winning weight after being TKO'd by Medic a while ago, back in May, I believe. So Chris Duncan by knockout is my pick. Round wise, I think under 1.5 is early second round. First round is my choice. Another fight I want to highlight is Muhammad Makayev versus Jafel Filio. Muhammad Makayev is very good. I want to see him versus the top of the division. And I'm going to pick him by first round submission. I think I think Malcolm Gordon was a tougher test than he expected. And I think he proves everyone wrong again and submits Jafel Filio and then tries to push into that top 10. There's a lot of good fights for him. Matt Schnell, David Dvorak, Minal Kopp, good fights. Lerone Murphy was obviously meant to fight Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood's out with a knee injury. Lerone Murphy is going to fight Gabriel Santos, who is the LFA featherweight champion. So big respect to Gabriel stepping in here on short notice. I'm picking Lerone Murphy by TKO. Now, the man I'm most excited for on this card, making his debut out of England, Cage Warriors middleweight champion, Christian Leroy Duncan. 7-0, 6 by finish, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. Very talented striker. Andrea Jiu-Jitsu. He can flow and he'll knock you off a spinning heel kick, a flying knee, head kick, spinning elbow, or a traditional left hook. Doesn't matter to him. I think he gets the job done against Dusko Todorovic. Todorovic is good, coming off the win over Jordan Wright, but his chin hasn't held up in the UFC, and I think it's not going to hold up again. I think Christian Leroy Duncan sits him down, puts him out. Jake Hadley, Malcolm Gordon. I mentioned Malcolm Gordon before. Coming off the loss to Muhammad Makayev in a fight he could have won. I think these odds are not fair. I think Jake Hadley's good coming off the win over Candelario. But people forget he got dominated by Alan Nascimento, who is obviously not fighting Tim Elliott, as I announced yesterday. And I'm gonna go with Jake Hadley. I think he submits Malcolm Gordon. Got good jiu-jitsu, Jake Hadley does, but his stand-up lacks, and I don't know if he goes super far, but he could, Scrolling down, I want one more fight to mention. I mentioned this in my article on Substack. It is Jai Herbert versus Ludovic Klein. Ludovic Klein is very good striking. Jai Herbert obviously trying to build off his win over Kyle Nelson. Obviously, he will want to put a finishing touch on this fight after his last fight was rather disappointing. But I'm going to go Ludovic Klein by decision. I think he outpoints Jai Herbert. If there is a finish, I think Jai Herbert gets it, but going with Ludovic Klein via decision is my pick. And that's it. I mean, that's all the fights I want to mention. But this is a good card. Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman 3. Tune in for sure. Have a great one, guys.